Voor De Kroon is definitely an interesting title. Released on the 9th of December 2022, it hopes to put you in control during the Frisco-Hollandic Wars. Set in the 13th century, the game features a strategy campaign and large-scale battles. Fight with your army in third person and command your troops. This really is a Mount and Blade meets Total War if I've ever seen one. You guys aren't prepared for what you're about to see. March of Empires is for you if you're into medieval strategy. Hey, you're watching a Mount and Blade vid. You might like this. You actually might like this. It was actually released 7 years ago with various factions like the Sultan, the King, and the Tsar. But we now have coming into the game the Shogun, because like you guys, I love a bit of medieval Japan. Oh, look at me. I just got a new army. Right, there we go. Build a barracks, because you can train your own troops as well. Let's build that. You can also buy gems and build stuff instantly, because we know how cool that is. You can even form strong alliances with other players if you need to. Oh, there's my friend coming to ask me to join a battle. No judge, we were not part of his private affairs. Don't want to go to court for that again. Ooh, you can unlock some really cool heroes on here like Genghis Khan or Lionheart. Attack! Attack! However, this is where it gets exciting. There's a new update with Shogun and medieval Japan. On the 15th of November, it's introduced the Japanese Shogun faction, which will enrich the game visually and submerge players in an authentic Japanese world. Your buildings, castles, armies let you experience the Japanese aesthetic while you're building your mighty empire. Oh, yeah, they're my samurai lads. And attack! Oh, what's that? I've just been given a gift. If you download it today with the link in the description, you get 5,000 gold coins. Think of what you could do with that. You could buy at least 3 slaves. Oh, and there we go. My city is now on the mend. After that attack, we have trained our troops back up with that money. You're welcome, you're welcome. Just click the link in the description and go and check out March of Empires. Well, this is Voor De Kroon, the game that I don't think anyone really knew about until it released out of nowhere. But hey, we're all here for Mount and Blade, we're all here for Total War, so let's have a quick look. Jumping into a quick battle, we can have a look at some of the factions we're able to use, and of course the characters we're able to play as, all having some of their own individual unique skills. As soon as you jump in, the first thing you will notice is goddamn how wet this thing... Is this the north of England? Because it goddamn looks like it. But yes, it looks like we're going to be fighting in a swamp today. You get your deployment screen much like you'd expect from, I don't know, a Bannerlord battle deployment or even the Total War deployment screens at the start. You can choose to wait for night if you'd like to, or you can turn on fire arrows. Archer stakes can be put down to defend against cavalry, or you can set up some trebuchets at the back. So let's try and do that. This is very early access, and I'm not entirely sure how much of this really works properly. But hey, let's set up our guys at more of a front line. We've got a decent amount of infantry, some cavalry, and some crossbows, so hopefully that should help us. Jumping into the battle, well, graphically this game looks goddamn beautiful, and you can just charge into men and they will go absolutely flying. The ragdoll physics are actually quite a lot of fun to play with. You'll actually see them come into an effect a little bit later on in this video. The troops look really nicely done. There's a lot of detail on everybody, and making them advance and move forward really feels like you're on this medieval grimy battlefield. The physics on the flags and banners are really nicely done as well, and as mentioned, the ragdolls as people fall over is a beautiful touch. Currently being an early access game, there is very little in terms of variation of maps. It's mostly swamps. I mean, you can play on Swamp 1 or Swamp 2, even Swamp 4 if that's more your thing, but you're going to be in a swamp. There's going to be blood everywhere, and there will be bodies that pile up. Optimization wise, I've not really found any issues. It plays at a solid 50 to 60 at 4K. It's pretty decent. There isn't all that much going on there, but once again, a very small development team and a new early access title. There are some issues with it at the moment. As we get out our sword and shield, we go and hack and slash a bit, and that's when we discover, yeah, the combat definitely needs a lot of work. It's not great at this point in time. The game tells you, by the way, if you go too far away from your guys, that you've got to stick with them because you'll be overexposed, and I did find this out a little bit later, because you will just be cancelled if you die. The game will end. But hey, at least we can see the trebuchets in the back, them doing their thing. And then as the battle moves on, we have the front lines being made up. It really feels like it's from that film, The King. The Battle of Agincourt, the troops in the center, bloody and gritty, and of course, well, all of a sudden the cavalry coming and smashing from the side, and well, Jesus Christ, is that a bit of impact if I've ever seen any. Holding tab, you get to see the troops that you can order around. Some of my guys have, well, left and run away. There is full morale within the game. I'm not entirely sure the triggers, and I have seen troops that will run away and then come back later on, but there is a basic system within there. But now we've seen the battles, let's try it from a different perspective. There is also a tutorial, by the way. It gives you a little bit of an idea of how the game works, the controls you use, and it's your general WASD to move your horse around, shift to sprint, and spacebar in order to speed up. You can also couch lance and, well, with various amounts of success. Next we dismount and we get on foot and, well, there goes my horse, I guess. And Jesus Christ, this camera is so close. I mean, it looks kind of cool and cinematic, but how are we supposed to fight with it this close? Holding the middle mouse button lets you zoom up a little bit and do some ordering of your troops from a more aerial position. So even if you are down and dirty in this very close-up camera position, you're not always going to be stuck in that way. And oh, there's my horse in the background, still just chilling, running around. Once the enemy charge in, it is bloody and well, okay, I'm dead. I'm goddamn dead. But you've seen the battles. Let's have a little look at the campaign. Now, there is a full campaign mode that I'm going to be bringing other videos out in the future, but let's have a little tiny look at the basics. Loading in, you have your general troops and your first starting cities. These cities are linked using some trade routes that will move between in order to grow your economy. You can recruit troops. There's anything from serfs to spear militia, cavalry, knights, so on and so forth. And of course, you can level up your farming, commerce, fortifications, and upgrade your towns and cities like such. This is a little bit more like Total War the Mount and Blade, and whilst you might be thinking this just looks like Bannerlord's map, well, in some ways, but this is turn-based. There's no real time in the actual campaign map itself. You end each session, which goes to a new season as the turns move, so on and so forth. You are able to issue decrees as well from your throne room, civil, economic, foreign and military, and you're able to make some decisions that will affect your gameplay in the future. But it's time to attack. There are currently no sieges as far as I'm aware. There will be as it is an option in the quick battle menu, but right now you're just going to have to deal with battles outside towns and villages. This is a small town we're attacking anyway, so I'm not all that surprised by that. Setting up our army, we have just a few men. It's pretty even on both sides. 2 sets of infantry, 1 set of crossbows. We get our infantry to form up while our crossbows take pot shots. Sitting at the back means that we can get more shots of our crossbows before they get to our front lines. Hopefully, because the numbers are pretty equal, we will thin them down. This is where I noticed some issues with controlling men, by the way. You select troops and you tell them to go to different places, and it sometimes works. But we'll get onto that a bit later. You can also possess troops and possess units. I possess the crossbow, and you're able to do a few shots there. I think I kill a friend. I killed someone, and if it's a friendly, I am sorry, okay? But some things just have to be done. They all look at me like I'm mental. You can possess anyone, from infantry to archers, cavalry to, well, just playing as your general lord. Going up behind, we get some hacking and slashing. When you get a critical hit, the crosshair will go red and you'll get a cool slow motion animation, and there is quite a decent amount of blood and gore within Voor De Kroon as well. Overall, this game has some issues, but I really like where it's going. Graphically, it looks beautiful. Ideas are really there. And yes, it is a lot like Mount and Blade, but it does have some of these Total War elements that Mount and Blade never really quite implemented. There needs to be a lot of revision in terms of combat and mechanics and ordering troops. It's very buggy, and especially the combat is very hard to use, and it feels so clunky. But the ideas are there, and there's definitely a lot of potential for it in the future. And this is a future that I will definitely be paying attention to.